What if a 12-year-old boy with nothing but 1736 and a dream could spark a miracle that would change his mother's life forever? In the middle of a snowy Christmas rush in Cleveland, young Noah Bennett walked into a toy store with one mission: buy a snow globe for the woman who had given up everything for him. But when he fell a few dollars short at the checkout counter, he thought the moment, and his chance to make her smile, was lost. That's when a stranger stepped in. But she wasn't just anyone. She was Karoline Leavitt, a name known across the country, now standing in front of him. Not in front of cameras or crowds, but beside a lonely boy with a desperate heart. What happened next was more than generous. It was life-altering. This isn't just a holiday story. It's about how one small act of kindness can ripple through time, lift someone out of despair, and reignite a dream long buried. Stay with us until the end, because by the time you finish this story, you'll believe in something more powerful than luck. You'll believe in people. The streets of Cleveland were wrapped in December's icy breath. Christmas lights blinked through the foggy twilight, casting warm reds and greens on the snow-dusted pavement. Laughter echoed from nearby storefronts, where families hustled past with shopping bags and steaming cups of cocoa. But amid the glow of holiday joy, one boy stood still, his breath forming clouds in the cold air, his sneakers soaked from slush. 12-year-old Noah Bennett tightened his grip on a worn coin pouch. The seams stretched and frayed from overuse. In it, he carried every cent he'd saved for the past year, exactly $17.36. For most kids, that might mean a new video game or a bag full of candy. But for Noah, it meant everything. It meant giving his mother a piece of the happiness she had long denied herself. He glanced across the street, where Maplewood Toy Store glowed like a dream come to life. Inside, he had seen it weeks ago, the snow globe. Inside it, a tiny house sat beneath swirling glitter, a miniature pine tree beside it, blanketed in artificial snow. It was nothing fancy, nothing expensive, but he remembered his mom's eyes the day they had passed the display, how her gaze lingered on that globe with a quiet longing, the kind that spoke of dreams put aside. Noah pushed open the door. A small bell chimed above him. Inside, warmth and wonder collided. Children squealed, toy trains circled tracks, stuffed animals overflowed from shelves. He moved quickly through the maze of joy until he found it. Still there, still perfect. His heart thudded as he picked it up, hands trembling with anticipation. At the counter, he set the globe down. "This is 1736, right?" he asked the cashier, a gruff man with glasses that slid down his nose. The man scanned the tag and sighed. "Price went up last week. It's $20 now." The words hit Noah like a punch in the stomach. He stared in disbelief. No, it can't be." With shaky fingers, he opened the pouch and emptied its contents on the counter. Crumpled bills, a few quarters, a dime, 2 nickels, and some pennies rolled across the glass. "This is all I have," he said, voice barely more than a whisper. The cashier hesitated. "Sorry, kid. That's store policy." Noah stood frozen, his heart sinking. The world around him seemed a blur. He thought of the long nights his mom worked double shifts, coming home with aching feet and that tired smile. He just wanted to see her happy, for once. As he turned to leave, a voice cut through the noise. "Wait." Noah turned, confused. A woman stepped forward. Tall, elegant, with her blonde hair tied neatly back. Her black coat, while simple, radiated presence. Her eyes, sharp yet kind, locked on his. "That snow globe. Is it for someone special?" she asked, her tone soft, sincere. Noah nodded slowly. "My mom." The woman smiled, but not like those picture-perfect political grins. This one felt real. "I remember wanting to give my mom something special too," she said, "but we didn't have much growing up. I know what that hope feels like." She turned to the cashier. "Add a green scarf to that. It'll look good with the snow globe." The cashier blinked. Sure. That'll be $50 total." She handed him a crisp bill. "Keep the change, and give the gift bag to the boy." Noah stood stunned. "Why are you doing this?" She crouched slightly, leveling with his eyes. "Because your heart is in the right place. That matters." Then the recognition hit him like a lightning bolt. "You're Karoline Leavitt," he gasped. She chuckled, brushing a snowflake from her shoulder. Guilty as charged. But why would someone like you help me? Caroline's gaze softened. Because someone once helped me. And sometimes the smallest act of kindness can rewrite an entire life. She stood, slipping her phone from her pocket. What's your mom's name? Rachel, he said, still in disbelief. And what does she do? She waits tables, cleans offices at night. She gave up school when I was born. Caroline's face turned serious. Rachel Bennett in Cleveland. Got it. She turned away, speaking rapidly into her phone. Tom, it's me. I want Rachel Bennett added to the education grant list. Full scholarship. Priority access. Yeah. Today. Noah's eyes widened. What? What are you doing? I'm not just giving you a snow globe, Noah, she said, pocketing her phone. I'm giving your mom a shot at her dream. By now, a few bystanders were watching. A man whispered, Is that Karoline Leavitt? Another raised his phone to take a photo. Karoline leaned down again. Want to help me escape this crowd? Noah grinned. What do I do? Just walk with me. Act like we're old friends. And so they walked together out of the store, past the flashing cameras and curious stares, into the cold Cleveland evening. Noah held the bag close to his chest, the snow globe inside already more than a gift. It was a promise, a beginning. Tell your mom to keep tomorrow afternoon free, Karoline said, winking as she opened the door of a sleek black SUV. She has a visitor coming. Noah watched as the car pulled away, snow falling gently all around him. For the first time in years, the world didn't feel so heavy. Tomorrow would be different. And you? Have you ever wanted to give someone you love a special gift, even when you didn't have much? Do you believe one moment of kindness can change an entire life? What would you do if someone powerful unexpectedly stepped in to help you or your family? Let me know your thoughts in the comments. Part 2 is coming next. Don't miss what happens when Karoline shows up at Rachel's door. Continue. The next afternoon, the worn hallway of the Bennett's apartment building echoed with the creaks of tired floorboards and the faint scent of old radiator steam. Inside their tiny unit, Rachel Bennett was folding a pile of laundry on the sofa, a lumpy thing patched with tape at the seams, when a knock sounded at the door. Noah nearly tripped over himself as he raced to answer it. He paused, steadied his breath, and opened the door. Standing there, just as she promised, was Karoline Leavitt. She wore the same elegant black coat from the day before, but today she carried more than charm. In her left hand was a simple bouquet of white daisies, and in her right, a thick envelope. Behind her stood two men in tailored suits, one holding a professional camera, the other a laptop case slung over his shoulder. Noah's eyes widened. This was not just a friendly visit. This was official. Rachel stepped out from the kitchen, drying her hands on her apron. Her eyes landed on Karoline, and she froze. You're Karoline Leavitt, she whispered, her hand instinctively flying to her mouth. What is this? Karoline smiled gently. Rachel Bennett, it's so good to meet you. Noah's told me a lot about you. Rachel looked at her son, suspicion shadowing her face. Noah, what's going on? Did you sign me up for something? Is this a publicity stunt? Karoline stepped forward, setting the bouquet on the chipped wooden table in the center of the room. She lowered herself onto the edge of a faded armchair, making the moment feel strangely personal despite the small crowd behind her. No cameras unless she agrees, Karoline said to the man with the camera. He gave a slight nod and backed away. Rachel remained standing, arms crossed, her shoulders tense. I'm sorry, but I don't understand why someone like you would show up at our door. Karoline reached into her coat and handed over the envelope. Because I believe in second chances, she said, and I believe your story deserves one. Rachel hesitated, then slowly opened the envelope. Inside were official documents, college forms, course schedules, and a handwritten note with slightly messy but unmistakably genuine penmanship. Rachel, Noah says you once dreamed of being a teacher. I believe you still can be. Tuition, books, even childcare if you need it. It's all covered. All you have to do is say yes. Don't let this dream fade. You have so much to give. Rachel sat down, hands trembling. I don't know what to say. Why would you do this for someone like me? Karoline leaned forward, her voice lower now. Because I see myself in you. My mom raised three of us alone. She worked herself to the bone so we could have a chance. And once someone helped me too, when I least expected it. Rachel blinked, trying to process it all. But this is too much. I'm just a waitress. I clean offices at night. I haven't been in school in years. Karoline smiled, her voice warm but firm. And you're also the reason your son saved every cent he had to make you smile. That kind of love. That's power. It deserves opportunity. Noah sat nearby, watching his mother's eyes fill with tears. Mom, he whispered, you've done everything for me. Let someone do something for you. Rachel looked between her son and Karoline. Her fingers gripped the envelope tightly. Do I have to be on TV? Karoline shook her head. Not unless you want to. This isn't about headlines, it's about hope. But I do have a program called Ordinary Americans. It tells stories like yours, not to exploit, but to inspire. You can say no. Rachel glanced at Noah again. His expression said it all. She took a deep breath and nodded slowly. All right, if it can help someone like me, maybe it's worth it. Karoline smiled and turned to her team. You heard her. Keep it honest. Keep it human. The apartment felt warmer somehow, though the heater still rattled in the corner. For the next hour, Karoline sat with Rachel and Noah, talking about old dreams, forgotten chances, and the exhaustion of surviving without a safety net. Rachel admitted she used to tutor neighborhood kids for fun, once even teaching Noah how to read using old cereal boxes. Karoline listened with genuine interest, occasionally scribbling notes or offering thoughtful nods. You've already been a teacher, Rachel, she said at one point. You just never had the classroom. Let's fix that. As the afternoon waned and shadows stretched across the room, Karoline stood to leave. I'll be following your progress, she said, placing a hand on Rachel's shoulder. But more importantly, believe in yourself, the way your son believes in you. Noah hugged her tightly, his voice shaking. Thank you for everything. Karoline winked. Thank you. You started all this with a snow globe. Then she and her team stepped out into the cold, fading light of Cleveland, leaving behind an apartment no longer heavy with struggle, but charged with something new, hope. Rachel sat still for a long moment, her eyes locked on the envelope in her lap. She looked at Noah, voice barely above a whisper. How did this even happen? Noah grinned. I just wanted to buy you a snow globe. And somewhere, deep within her, the dream of a classroom full of children flickered back to life. And you? If someone offered to change your life, but it meant stepping outside your comfort zone, would you say yes? Do you believe ordinary people like Rachel can become heroes in their own stories? Have you ever been given an opportunity you almost turned down, but didn't? Share your answers in the comments, and it's where everything changes. The months that followed brought more change to the Bennett's home than the previous decade ever had. Rachel was back in school, officially a student at Cleveland Community College's teacher training program. At first, she felt out of place among the younger faces in the classroom. Her textbooks looked foreign, her hands trembled during her first class presentation, and more than once, she considered quitting. But then, every time she sat down at the kitchen table with Noah, he'd quietly slide his homework next to hers. They studied together under the flickering kitchen bulb. He would yawn and say, "We've got this, Mom," even when his eyes were barely open. And Karoline? She kept her word. She called once a week, always checking in, not like a politician, but like a friend. Sometimes she sent Rachel surprise materials for her studies or invited her to private online workshops with real teachers from across the country. I just want you to have what others once gave me, she said. One evening, after a long night shift and 3 hours of class, Rachel received a package. Inside was a small gift card for an advanced online course, and a note in Karoline's handwriting. Rachel, never stop chasing the teacher inside you. She's been waiting long enough. Tears rolled down Rachel's cheeks as she held the card. For the first time in years, she didn't feel like a struggling, single mom. She felt like someone becoming. Over time, the confidence came. She began raising her hand in class. She spoke up during group discussions. She even volunteered to present in front of visiting educators. Her professors began to notice. One day, her instructor pulled her aside and said, "You have a gift for connecting with people. You were meant to teach." Those words lit something in Rachel's soul. By spring, she'd been offered an internship at Jefferson Elementary School, the very same school Noah once attended. There, standing in front of bright-eyed second graders, she felt more alive than she had in years. She wasn't just teaching math or reading. She was teaching courage, grit, and second chances, without ever saying those words out loud. And Noah? He watched from the classroom window one day, beaming as his mother led her students through a story about kindness. Her smile was radiant, her voice steady. She was home. Years passed. On a snowy winter morning, nearly 20 years after the day he stood at that toy store counter, Noah, now a tall, composed man in his 30s, walked up the familiar steps of Jefferson Elementary. In his hand was a small box, wrapped neatly. Inside the classroom, Rachel Bennett, now proudly known as Miss Bennett to generations of students, was writing the day's lesson on the board. Her hair had begun to streak with gray, but her smile was still the same. Gentle, warm, constant. When she turned and saw Noah standing in the doorway, she froze. Then she smiled, wide and teary-eyed. "Noah," she whispered, one hand over her heart. He stepped forward and hugged her tightly. "I couldn't miss today." They sat by the window while children ran through the hallways during recess. Noah set the box on her desk. "Open it, Mom." She unwrapped the ribbon slowly. Inside was the very snow globe from years ago, perfectly preserved. When she picked it up, the snow inside swirled around the little house and tree like it always had. Her hands trembled slightly. "I gave you this when I was 12, Noah said, watching her closely. "But I think it gave me something too." Rachel nodded, her voice soft. "It gave me my dream back." They sat quietly, the snow globe between them, lost in memory. Then Noah asked, "Do you still talk to Karoline?" Rachel smiled. "Not as often. She's not in politics anymore. She's working with education charities now. But I sent her a letter last month. I wanted her to know this life, this classroom, this moment, it started with her." "She didn't just give us a gift," Noah said. "She gave us a future." Rachel looked at her son and squeezed his hand. "No, sweetheart, you did. You believed in me when I didn't believe in myself. That's what changed everything." Noah chuckled, wiping away a tear. "I just wanted you to smile on Christmas. I never imagined all of this." A small boy poked his head through the classroom door. "Miss Bennett? Who's that?" Rachel looked at Noah, then smiled. "That's my first student." The boy's eyes widened. "Wow. Then he must be really smart." Noah laughed. "He just had a great teacher." As the day wore on, the school halls buzzed with life. But in that little classroom, something greater lingered. Gratitude, memory, and the undeniable truth that kindness can ripple through time in the most unexpected ways. Now it's your turn. What part of Rachel and Noah's story touched you the most? Have you ever received help from someone when you least expected it? We want to know how this story made you feel. If you loved it, comment 3 below. If you thought it was okay, comment 2. And if you feel it needs something more, comment 1. We're always listening. And hey, what country are you watching from? We'd love to know where this story has reached. If this story moved you, please share it. Let someone else feel the warmth of this journey. You never know. It might just inspire the next Karoline.